purpose of the mastermind is to learn leadership, build teams, and create multiple sources of income together. Yay.
We are here to inspire and challenge each other to reach and exceed goals.
Each member is committed to their own success, as well as the success of every member of the group.
We are committed to meeting in person or virtually for 1 hour every week.
We are present. There is no multitasking or distraction during meetings.
We are collaborative. We listen without interrupting, lecturing, or judging.
We celebrate
each other. Oh, sorry. Interrupting. Sorry.
We celebrate interrupting each other's successes without jealousy.
We are honest and participate by giving thoughtful feedback about pronunciation of names.
Oh, Lord, help me. We are open and listen to different perspectives without being defensive or offering excuses.
We trust fellow members enough to share partially.
We are focused, but we also think it's important to have fun during meetings.
We are real and authentic. This is a no BS zone.
We allow ourselves to become completely aligned with each other and the high forces. One mind, one soul, one love.
Noble Goldman International is a conscious, aware, and engaged global community of abundance and freedom creators.
Our mission is to create 1 million millionaires who are free from the time for money paradigm. We focus on creating multiple streams of income through masterminding, team building, and the effective utilization of the internet-based platforms.
The mastermind becomes an opportunity for self-mastery, where the self-transcendent shift from the me to the we to the us occurs. As congruence and engagement increases, the world's consciousness is then raised one meaningful and inspired relationship at a time. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, ladies, for creating your own version of that.
Only the devil can help you now, Martin.
Well, you've officially set this call up then. So, chapter 10 then. Let's get into it and see where we go, or rather where we end up.
Sounds like it's going to be the toilet.
No, man. It all goes down the drain. Oh my gosh, this is not going to end well. I can see this is already.
You better stop recording this. Better stop recording this one, Martin.
Stop recording.
Do you know what? We're going to have all the people that come on the Wednesday morning thinking, I'm missing out. I need to be on the Thursday evening.
Totally. Well, if they haven't gotten that route by now. Anyway, self-discipline. Well, self-discipline, it is what it is. And it is, I think, one of the toughest ones to master. And the 90-day challenge is all about self-discipline. And I mean, Cheryl, who wanted to join, who obviously somehow missed it, would probably say that because
Lauren, you mean?
No, Cheryl said.
Oh, Cheryl joining this. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fine line for me. It's a really fine line. Where does it end and where does it stop? Because playtime is important, relaxation time is important, and we are so brainwashed in work, do, create, that we have that guilty pattern when we just sit and be. I mean, we talked about this, the space to be, and then is that self-discipline? But it is self-discipline. So I find it hugely interesting, and especially because drifting is calling very much now and about the halfway mark of the 90-day challenge. And we all three of us are going through this. So yeah, when is it time to just stop and stop? When do we exercise the self-discipline to stop and put ourselves first instead of doing and making and serving?
Yeah.
I really like
really
that.
Powerful.
I really like that you brought that up around playtime is important, because we often do get caught up and forget about that. And just especially from a, let's just use the word, and I know it's loosely, but entrepreneurship, like that thing of we should be working, we shouldn't be playing. And
it's a prison sentence.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's hell.
Yeah.
And it's that, like, one of the words that I've always had a strong negative attachment to, based on the entrepreneurship industry, is hustle. You should be hustling. I've never ever related to that, because I've just felt it's a very, and it's our own attachment to it. So I'm aware of that. But I find that a lot of people who are coming from a very strong egotistical place use it to make them sound like they're better, and it's the only way to achieve in life. So,
yeah. I mean, for me, hustle brings up two things. One is that a hustler is deceitful, for a start. You know, a hustler is somebody who pretends to be something they're not. You know, that's the first thing that comes up for me. But the other thing is that if I'm hustling, I'm pushing, and the laws of the universe are about flowing. They're not about pushing. And my experience, and I get, as you said, Martin, that this is my perspective, but my experience of hustling is freaking hard work and a nightmare result. Yes, I got the numbers. Yeah, but it didn't feel congruent. I got the wrong clients, and the next 6 months were a freaking nightmare. Yeah, because it was a numbers game. You got to hustle, you got to hustle, you got to hustle. And I did it. I followed it. But I had the worst client I've ever had in my entire life. And it was a nightmare. It was never worth the hustle. I would have been better off without the money and without the client. And hustling for me really brings up this feeling of pushing against what is natural. I want to attract my clients. I don't want to push them in, drag them in, bully them in. I want them to want to work with me. And I think this is, you know, where we're talking about the self-discipline. For me, what comes up so much is, and you say it's a fine line, Antje, is what is self-discipline and what is working against what is congruent for me. And I am really challenged by this sometimes. And whereas, as you say, this time I'm a big believer, having had chronic fatigue syndrome, I am acutely aware of my energy levels and the best place to put my energy. And sometimes it is not doing what I said I was going to do. Sometimes it's making it a conscious decision to say, you know what, my discipline now is going to be to put myself first, and I need to take time out. I mean, an analogy I used a lot with my clients, especially up in Port Hedland. For those that don't know, Port Hedland is freaking miles from anywhere. We're 240 kilometers from the nearest town, 1,700 kilometers from Perth. So it's a 2-day drive, and people will drive it overnight just to get there in one day. They ruin the first 2 or 3 days of their time down in Perth because they don't want to miss a day. But when they get there, all they want to do is sleep because they haven't slept. But something I used to say to my clients is that if you're going to drive to Perth every week, you need to service your car far more frequently than you would do if you're just pottering around town. And that comes up to this discipline. So how far do I push? Because my discipline says, I've got to do this. I've made a commitment. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. If I'm running on empty, am I really going to get the results that I want? Well, you know, sorry.
The question is, are we running on empty, or are we telling ourselves that we're running on empty because we're actually procrastinating and drifting?
And this is the fine line, isn't it? It's knowing, it's learning. I won't say I've learned it. What is time out? What is recharge time, and what is non-productive discipline? I mean, if I come back to the mining, but we can use it with cars, we can use it with anything. If you don't service your car, it will start to work at the output will be less.
Yeah.
So instead of 100%, it'll drop down to 90%, and then down to 80%, and then down to whatever. But the effort required to maintain that, whatever percentage is the same, if not more, than the effort required to maintain 100%. I don't know about you. If I'm putting 100% in, I want 100% out.
Mm.
But if I am not taking that time out to nurture myself, to fill the tank up, to top it up, then I am working 100% to get less than 100% back. So for me, it's always been that challenge. Okay, do I take time out? Because we know this for a fact. When we sit there and we keep doing, we have to go back and correct it. We're not as 40 minutes is the max for us to sit with something. Often when we just put it down, we go away and we come back, we're recharged and everything flows more easily. But when we keep pushing against what is basically saying, no, you need a break, we're never going to be as effective. So it's a really fine line. How do we know whether I'm procrastinating or whether I actually, do you know what? I can't function right now. My brain, I can discipline myself to sit in front of the computer, but whether I get any value out of it is another thing. So is that really discipline to make myself sit in front of the computer and do the work if I'm not getting the results that I want?
Mm. Yeah.
I've listened to Bob Proctor this morning and to Joe Dispenza, because he's the follow-up video in level 4. Okay. And the discipline is actually about being true to ourselves. That is the self-discipline. And if we're all honest, we know when we're procrastinating, because it's got a different feeling. With a little bit of self-awareness, you do not have to be a rocket science, The same with the food, the same with the food. You know which food is good for you, and and you have a choice. You have a choice what you put into your mind watching TV or listen to people or the company, and you have a choice what you put into your body. And I think it's quite interesting that this chapter came up now, because I've been looking at this whole brain-gut connection for the last, 3 weeks intensely. And I'm not going to bore you with facts, Lisa.
That's some interesting conversations this week, Martin.
Yeah. But it's
just
really,
a quick one,
really...
Ante, very quickly. Where was that video? Which section? Level 4?
Level 4.
Level 4, yes. I especially looked at level 4. It's one of the beginnings, And I almost phoned you this morning when the next one comes up, because the next one it's so relevant to where we are stuck in the 90-day challenge, the habit of being you, So, I mean, level 4 is, geez, that's a gold nugget, level 4 in the video, seriously. So the thing is, we do know. So let's not bullshit here, We do know when we're procrastinating, and we do know when it's playtime. Yeah.
It takes some integrity, I think, to actually acknowledge that, and I know for a long time I used my chronic fatigue as my get out clause. For many years I used that as my get out clause. I have learned not to do that now, but yes, I think there's it's being aware of that feeling, and when we're perhaps depleted, it's not always as easy to distinguish that feeling. When we're feeling good, when our tank is full, then yes, it's easy to know when we're procrastinating. But when the tank is running low, I don't think it's as clear a distinction as it is when we have a full tank.
Yeah, I came onto level 4 then just to check.
Yeah, me too.
One of the things that came up, multitasking. One of the things that came up.
Distractions, both of you, checkers are bastard.
It's been I was listening and it's exactly what you said, Lisa, because earlier on we did the values exercise, and I'm listening to John with his 15-minute intro, and I'm looking, and behind him he's got the map, and I can see the Washington and New York, and then on the other side is England, and all that I kept thinking about was the ships in the old days taking things across the ocean that I was wandering off, and I'm like, I really want to do this exercise. Why am I wandering off? And I am, and I said this to Lisa earlier, I am very tired. Like, I know there's the I am statements, but I am very tired at the moment. I'm just ready for a good bloody sleep. And yeah, and I get on and I went back and I was listening to Outwitting the Devil again before in regards to chapter 10. And it's been interesting what was discussed yesterday. And I know you ladies haven't seen the replay of the Gold Star call yesterday, but certainly what we were discussing in regards to, it wasn't procrastination, but it was around Mark saying that cash flow is going to be ready in July. It's going to be ready in August. It's going to be ready in September. And it's constantly, it's going to be. And I was listening again to chapter 10 before, and I was like, wow, this is really powerful what I'm receiving right now, because I was defending Mark, but I also was agreeing with people, because as we know, there's positives and negatives. There's no one thing. And I said, well, Mark is telling us what's coming, and he's working extremely hard, but he's also releasing new things. And the problem is that we get attached to one thing, and that's what we want to hear. And then we run with that. And when it's not ready, even as a visionary, we're disappointed. So like for instance, and Ricky won't mind me saying this, but Ricky is about money. He's like, I want money. I want more of it. I want to talk to people about it. And Noble Goldman's fantastic. It's going to be amazing, but people aren't earning money. Show me somebody who's earning money. Not talking about the Gold Star memberships, talking about cash flow and MSIs. And I'm like, well, none of that is activated yet. None of it's live. It's not, it's still in the building process. So then what Ricky was saying was that these people like himself have been brought in based on what Mark's shown in regards to this is what's coming and this is what you'll be able to create and earn from it. So these people have come in thinking this is what I'm going to earn from it, but at the same time, it's not actually built yet to earn that kind of money from it. So people start to get disgruntled by it, and they're like, oh, well, what's the point? And they go looking for the next thing then that they can. And it's like I said on the call yesterday, it doesn't matter if cash flow is working. It doesn't matter if all the MSI stuff is working. If you don't have a team of 12 who are duplicating a team of 12, none of that works. So it's not about it being live. Ask yourself, go back to yourself as in your own self-discipline. What are you doing to build your team of 12? And what are you helping create within that team to help those people go and create their team of 12? Because that is what's needed to help all the other stuff. So there's no point Mark launching it and then going, right, guys, well, I've given you everything. And that's...
Nobody's ready to go.
and it's like you've said, Lisa, all the years that you've been doing the work, and some of it, you got to turn around and look at yourself in the mirror and go, well, if it's not worked, it's not because of Bob Proctor's fault. It's not because of whoever's fault. I have to look back at me and say, where was the self-discipline? Where was the procrastination? Where were the things that I didn't do what I said I was going to do? But also, as you were saying as well, Antje, in regards to the playtime, I know for a fact that 2 years ago, I just took a massive step back from a business and did probably 5% of the work I was doing, and my business started soaring. And I was going to the gym, I was putting myself first, I was going into nature, I was doing all these things. And because I saw it soaring, I was like, oh, I've got to put more energy into it. I've got to focus on it. It needs my attention now. And as soon as I did that, I was strangling it. It was suffocated. It started to slow down. And when I was reading through this, through my notes here, and I found this chapter, I was pretty much typing word for word. And one of them here where he talks about desire to express loosely organized opinions. Now, there's different ways we can view this, but certainly what I got from yesterday's call was that the person who talks too much informs the world of his aims and plans and gives to others the opportunity to profit by his ideas. Wise men keep their plans to themselves and refrain from expressing uninvited opinions. This prevents others from appropriating their ideas and makes it difficult for others to interfere with their plans. Now, I don't believe Mark is doing it in any other way than to help us see what's coming and help us understand his vision. But he's also letting himself down from the angle of this is coming in July, in August, because you've given people a date almost. So then there's an expectation, and people often don't understand, especially when they're not in that industry, that things change. Stuff happens, code needs changing, technology doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. And all of a sudden they're looking and going, well, you said, and that in itself, in my eyes, is self-discipline from Mark's side in this example, but also self-discipline to self in regards to how we're hearing this information and interpreting it and then choosing to act on it.
Yeah, I think what you said earlier on, Martin, is that people were brought in under different things. So I was brought in from the mastermind perspective. So this making money out of it has never been sitting there. Yeah, I can see that the potential of it, but it's never been something that is driving me within NG. It's like you say, it's about the team building. And at the moment, it's not even that. It's about, for me, just getting myself really comfortable with all aspects of it, but feeling like I belong in it. So that when I welcome people in, I can welcome them in from the heart, not from a scripted paper, you know, saying that this is what I've got to do, this is what I've got to do. Oh, by the way, Auntie, I've found some more stuff in the group which might help you with with your new clients. But the whole thing really, for me, Martin, comes down to what are our expectations and what are the expectations that have been set for us. And it's like we talked about in the earlier one that, you know, a lot of our values and our goals and stuff are not congruent with who we are. They're who and what we've been programmed to do. So for a lot of people, what I'm seeing now is that they have been programmed to expect to make money out of Noble Goldman. And I think when we look at the discipline, you know, if we look at the 90-day thing, it'd be interesting to know who has done the 90-day challenge out of those people who are on the call. I know one of the reasons I'm struggling, if you like, with it, I'm doing certain things, but I'm not doing as much in the way of calls and connections. I am to a degree, but not in the way I believe it was intended, is that I'm not ready to build. That doesn't feel like that is my step right now. And it's hard to describe because I know everybody's different, but at the moment, I have no desire to build my team of 12. And I know that won't last forever. My desire is to really get in, to be part of the community, to be of value, to add value and to support. And that's what I feel my purpose for being is here. I feel valued. I feel like I've got something to offer. So it's really interesting. So for me, the discipline of doing the 90 days, which is focused on something that is not congruent with what I want, that is where my challenge is. It's not congruent with what I want. So what I'm doing, and some days I do it better than others, is I'm looking and saying, okay, so what do I want? I want to build those relationships. So let's forget about that, and that. And let's put my effort and energy into this. So, you know, we can say, well, is that discipline or not? Am I procrastinating that word or not?
Stalling.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, is it a lack of discipline to not do something that is not congruent with who I am.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think
with
so.
what I want. No.
I think that, yeah. So
And
I think the discipline lies with what is congruent. But then the question is, is it congruent? Is it really congruent, or do you tell yourself congruent? And that is the thing, because when you come from a place of not feeling good enough, okay, then you will have that voice.
This was a conversation, Martin.
Yeah, but then you have that voice that says, no, this is not the right time for you. You know, you just want to be valued, because then you feel good enough. Okay.
Yeah.
If you come from a place of fear and need, of needing money, you know, then you will say, okay, I have to get those 12 plus 2 as fast as possible because I need money, you know. Now this all might feel congruent, but is it aligned with your soul, and is it in the spirit of abundance and attraction, and be the change and be the person that you want to be? So it's always a fine line, you know. It's a fine line, and for me it comes down to a feeling. It comes down to a feeling. Where am I coming from? I always say, who's doing the doing? You know, which part and aspect in your head? I mean, I always say it's a pub, okay, and the locals are in there, and they're all having a drink and a Skinner, and they all look different, but they all have my eyes. So they're all aspects of who I am. And some are really loud, and some are nasty, and some are getting totally wasted, and some are sitting in the corner. But now these locals in the pub, you know, they need to sometimes they just need to shut up and come and listen, you know, when the big boss is talking or whatever, you know. So who's doing the doing? From which place are you making your decision? Empowerment, fear, lack, abundance? So that's the question.
Yeah. And then you said something that really resonated with me, and then you said so much else, so much more awesome stuff that I can't remember what it was. I need to work on this.
I need to work on the expressing of opinion.
It was really funny, because I kept thinking, okay, I'm going to say this, and no, I'm listening to respond. Shut up, get out of here. Let's just listen to learn. So I have no idea what it was you said, but it was like, oh wow, that was like a light bulb. So I'm sure it'll come back at some point, but I have no idea what it is at the moment. That congruency thing, and I know, and I knew when I started doing it. So it was interesting why I was doing it, because that's what I should be doing. The 90-day challenge. Yeah. There is okay, if I'm going to lead, I need to do it, and I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to do, you know, whatever. So for me, the congruency has been finding a way to make it work for me. So my communications haven't necessarily been around NG. They haven't necessarily been around building a team. My conversations have been around connecting with people who I want to connect with, who I want to build relationships with. And my sense is that for me, because that is congruent for me, I'm not saying it would work for everybody, but there will come a point, very much like I see with you, Martin, when you're ready to put a magic up there, you're going to have such a freaking team, because everybody wants to be on your team. So my sense is that for me, building those relationships that I want to build, because I want to build relationships with them, not because I want them in my team, that when I'm ready to create my team, these people will actually want to be part of my team. Whereas to try and build relationships because I want them in my team feels incongruent to me. That feels that there's an ulterior motive. Well, and that doesn't sit well with me. So
sorry, Lisa. Sorry.
Okay. No, sorry.
I was going to say, Antje, I know I've got something there, but I know that you went to say something, so go on.
I just listened to Lisa, and something in there doesn't make sense.
Welcome to my world.
somehow, and I can't just put the finger on there, but somehow it doesn't make sense. It's not congruent, because it's like you want the relationship and you want the team having people with relationship, but the people that you relationship with, you don't want them in your team. But then you do want them in your team. So somehow, some of theirs are not there. So I listened to this, and this is quite interesting, because I think at the end of the day, with the ulterior motive, it brings us back to what's it, 2-3 weeks ago, our relationship to money, you know. So all of a sudden there's money involved, and then does it become a ulterior motive?
Yeah.
So,
hang on a minute. Sorry, I'm just going to have to disappear. I'll be back in a minute.
So I think that's quite interesting.
The dog going crackers.
I don't know. Sounded like.
He's got hold of the postman.
All right. Good. I've got cats. They also kind of do that. Anyway, it's all interesting. It's super interesting how we actually bullshitting ourselves in the long run.
Yeah.
And I started the 90-day challenge for the self-discipline and for the focus, because I know that I'm putting other people's priorities in front of mine, which is partially necessary, but partially not necessary. So,
you know, I'm glad you actually brought that up, because I'm in a place where I've realized that I've neglected my physical health and certainly my own spiritual health. And with you both mentioning about the 90-day program challenge, it's made me realize literally in this moment that, wow, there's the gratitude, there's the affirmations and so on. But in the beginning, and I literally had said to Beth that I want to get back into starting my day that way, where the first 3 hours of my day are for me, and it's going to the gym, and it's the affirmations and so on, because I just felt like I was on top of the world when I was doing that. And I just stopped it. And I don't know why, but I just stopped and just started coming straight into here and getting on with things. And I suppose for me, because I am so driven, I just do it and I go, oh, well, this video needs recording, it then needs editing, and I need to get it up. And I'm excited because I know that other people are going to be able to leverage it and benefit from it. And in with you both just speaking, and then certainly with what you just said then, Antje, it made me realize and go, what I've actually got is a tool right in front of me to make sure I am starting my day and doing what I need to do. And I know for a fact that all of those people, as you said before, are you curious to know if they would done the 90-day? None of them have, including myself. So it's time for me. And I literally had said to myself when we left the farm earlier today, we've got October, November, December before we leave. That's pretty much 90 days. Why not? Time's perfect. So yeah, I've just literally had that light bulb moment and gone, now's the time to do it. So thank you.
Good. You want to join our group, Rocking 90 Days?
Are you restarting it? Or are you just going to keep going?
I think we just keep going.
Yeah, I'll jump
but
in.
You know what, Martin? But you know what, Martin? The thing is, see, I come from a different point of view, because I am super comfortable in the spiritual world. I can bullshit myself, you know, of visualizing and meditating all day and then expect the business to grow. And that isn't in balance either, you know, because this is how I can hide, you know, instead of kicking my butt and sitting and recording the videos, you know, and doing and writing the posts and things like that. I can say, oh no, I'm just going to visualize it, you know. So it's once again, it's all in the balance, and that's a self-discipline, because I can use meditation. I mean, I'm in trance 90% of the day. Seriously, this is how I cope, and this is how I cope best. Otherwise, it gets too much, too stimulated, and so I'll just cruise, you know. That is also too much. That can also go into drifting, you know. Because at the end of the day, you've got to do the work. You know? You've got to do the work. You've got to put in the hours in a constructive, focused, and streamlined way. That's why I'm so horrified and excited about the 1-year project. I've never had a 1-year project. Lisa and me, we talked about this. I never had a 1-year project with a monetary goal. All the other projects, I can all tick them off. You know, they were all successes, and most of them were under 12 months. So this is going to be freaking interesting. Self-discipline, and that needs a self-discipline that I stick to the focus there. Yeah,
it's interesting, like you say, because you kind of shifted it on a different. It's the same, but in a different way. And I've realized, I've had quite a lot of realizations this last few days. Certainly, and I knew that what was going to happen was this, because on my calendar, I've got my calendar in front of me for the year. And at the beginning of the year, we mapped out all the events, everything we were doing, all the big events we were doing, and so on. And as we know, COVID hit, so quite a few of them ended up getting shifted towards the end of the year. So the big one that we had was just at the weekend. And I actually said to one of the ladies in the community at the event, I said, for the first time in a long time, all I'm focused on is getting through this. Not getting out of it, actually getting through it, because I'm just with like Bessie's passing, having a bit of a grieving phase and still doing the stuff, and then knowing that event came in, and I just felt like I was still giving, and I hadn't actually taken the time to heal. And then when it finished that Sunday night, I mean, the Saturday night I was struggling, but that Sunday night I just crashed. I was gone. I had a headache. My eyes were hurting. My legs were. I felt like I was actually coming down with something, and it was just burnout. And when we went to the farm, we did some work on the orchard and stuff there at Beth's parents, and time in nature and just chilling. But I had another realization, and with what you were just saying, then I realized that. For me, I love creation. I like, it fills my cup. And one of Dave, my business partner, he always used to go mad because he's saying, all you want to do is bloody create, but we've got to get out there and sell. And I'm like, well, that's what you do. Your job is like, you get out there and sell. But the problem is you sell things and we haven't even bloody built them yet. So you're the visionary and you're already selling stuff. And then I've got to go and create it. So creation takes longer than the bloody thought. So I was constantly in creation mode. And to be fair, we worked extremely well from that angle. And Beth's the same. Beth loves to create. Well, I love creating the videos and I love creating the website and all this stuff. But at the same time, that doesn't bring money if I'm not out there having conversations with people. So with us leaving at the end of the year, there's a lot of things that are in creation mode. And I said this on the call earlier, the things that need to happen to the vehicle, the caravan being built. We're going to vlogging it all. So YouTube, the website, all this stuff. And then we're going to have the products we use all affiliated linked. So we're earning money through all that stuff. Well, all that's creation still. And all that's going through my head is that, am I just going on this creation wheel and not actually, am I drifting along this creation wheel and not stepping off and going, hey, I need to be speaking to more people. The reason why Lisa is here and the reason why you're here, Antje, is because I was like, I reckon Lisa will love this. And I just sent the voice message and say, hey, I've found this thing. And that actually brings me on to what you were saying, Lisa, because just if you wouldn't mind, just answer me this question. Do you want to help people?
Absolutely.
So if I was one of those people who wasn't in Noble Goldman and you had found it first, if you didn't tell me about it, I would be missing all this value that I'm experiencing right now. And if I didn't tell you about it, you'd be missing all this experience that you're all this value you're experiencing right now. So the way that I got to a place where I went, this is amazing. And I can choose to view it, which is fear. I can choose to view it as people who I connect with are going to look and go, what are you trying to sell me? Are you making money from this? Is this bloody a pyramid scheme? And view it as that. Or they can look at it and I go with totally open and say, I just really believe that you are going to receive value, but more importantly, you are going to bring an incredible amount of value to this community. And you have a way to influence it, your side of it as to where you want it to go. And that to me, if somebody came to me with that angle and said the way that I said, because I never spoke to you about the money, because the money isn't what I've been looking at. And it's not from a fear of money. It's because, as I said earlier, that aspect isn't ready yet.
Yeah.
And the value I'm receiving, this is far greater. This is far, far greater, because we all know that the money's going to come. It's a byproduct. It's going to come. So that was what was coming up for me then when you were saying what you were saying. And then when Anchu had shared what she was a bit further, it made me realize, wow, am I just drifting on this creation, or do I need to step off? Or is it actually, am I in flow? Do I need to just trust and keep those oars in and just keep going down the stream? Because I'm in total flow and it actually feels 100% right. But does it feel right, 100% right because of fear? Does that make sense?
It's an interesting one, isn't it?
I think we mustn't overanalyze things, because now you're overanalyzing. Now you're going from the fun of creation. Creation is subconscious. You go from the feeling of creation, subconscious, you are now stepping into the conscious, analyzing it. And I would say don't, because that is when you're drifting. Okay? That is when you're drifting. When it feels right, when it's congruent, when you're having fun, then it's the right thing. You know, it's the right thing. Because you neglected your meditation, visualization, affirmation, and it was the right thing. Because you spent those hours of making the videos because you had a deadline, and now it's shifted. Now you realize, okay, this is all done. This is all done. You can tick it off, and now it's time again. There's an opening. We only have 24 hours, you know, and so now there's an opening because all those videos are in place, and Mark put them in, and people can leverage them. So that's done. You know, that's done, and now there's a little voice again, hello, can we come back to affirmations? And now you can change it again. Remember our routines, and I definitely know Lisa, you know, but Martin, you also sound like you are not the 9 to 5 very strict one. You know, we make up things as we go along. And this is being in flow, being flexible. You know, this is why I've never had a 1-year project, because my life, it would always change. You know, it was always change. We could not commit for a year because it would always change. And it's still like this, you know, and I knew it was going to change. And that's why I've never planned that far ahead, you know. So I think you're overanalyzing. So I would say just really, really say, don't stop it, you know, do what feels right. And to Lisa, remember, Lisa, when you told me about Noble Goldman, okay, that was, you also weren't analyzing, do I have a hidden agenda? Do I want it in my team? Do I want to build my team?
Yeah.
No,
it had nothing to do with anything other than you expressed a problem, and this was going to help solve your problem. That was
exactly.
Yeah. But I never had that conversation with that intention.
But that doesn't matter, because the intention was, you could see with your experience that you have, that this would be perfect for me. And it is, because it filled the gap. It filled the gap that I was looking for, you know, like-minded people with depth. And you know where we were coming from, you know, like-minded people with depth. It's a compliment, Martin. Okay. And value for me. You know, value for me. And this is how I speak to people about Noble Goldman. I said, this is my mentoring. This is my mentoring, my coaching, my fun time of connecting with like-minded people, you know. and there's no agenda. If they join as a gold star, fantastic. If they don't, you know, there will be others. In the spirit of abundance, there's enough people, and the 12 plus 2 gold stars are going to come, because yes, my intent is to do the affiliate, to do the MSI, and to have a bit of pocket money at the end of the day, and that's an okay intent to have, you know.
Yeah.
I love that. In the spirit of abundance, the people will come.
Yeah. If it's not this client, it's the next one. I mean, there's how many people out here?
Yeah.
7.7 billion or something.
Okay. Can I have a few more clients, please?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I have my share, please?
It's
round about now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is the way I can bullshit myself, you know, in the spirit of abundance, the people come. If I don't put the freaking message out there, where are they going to come to? I've got to make waves. I've got to share my enthusiastic self. I've got to make myself known. I've got to make a noise. You know, I've got to shine my light. I can't sit, you know, meditate myself into oblivion in the most beautiful state and expect people to find me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like this, you know.
And it's basically going back to what you were saying earlier on around that the playtime and the affirmation and the anything that you're doing for self is filling your own cup. Therefore, you feel fantastic. Your vibration is higher. People are just literally attracted to it. Whereas, as we know, when we're not, it's kind of like, oh, I've just got to get this done. I've got to get this done, and not feeling good. And then, we're getting on the calls or we're having these meetings or whatever, and people are picking up on that energy that it's low and going, well, it doesn't sound like you're enjoying it. Oh yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. It doesn't sound like it because the energy is different.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how people feel it. It really is amazing how people feel it. And I can only speak on my behalf based on what I felt. From that side of things. But thank you for picking that up, though. I really appreciate that.
I think, and I also have a feeling there's lots of things percolating. If you ask me what the takeaways, I couldn't tell you, but I know I can feel something inside is moving and doing things. So that's awesome. But if we want to come back to, you know, the discipline and the drifting and all this sort of stuff, is that really where is the discipline best placed? Is it in maintaining our high level of energy, keeping our cup filled, or is it in achieving certain goals because that's what we need to do?
It's 50-50.
But I think but if we don't put the focus on filling our cup first, then we don't have the energy to do the discipline. So for me, for instance, if I didn't have these calls, I probably wouldn't get a lot done, because I look forward to these calls and I come off on such a high that I'm back into being creative. I'm back into being whatever. And that's just where I'm at the moment, because my circumstances are really not what I want them to be at all, and certainly not what I expected them to be. And I have struggled. I have really struggled with that, and just this realization now that I probably am going to have to do a winter here, whether I like it or not. So it's taking some adjustment for me. So I don't have those people around me. You know, it's really, I don't know if you watched the video that I posted, but it's about wanting constantly to change, get out and get to a higher vibration, because we don't like this lower vibration. And this video is about accepting this lower vibration, knowing that we are already in a higher vibration. And it's not about escaping from this vibration. It's about being able to maintain our vibration within this vibration. And it brought me back to a program I did. I did a Quantum Leap program with T. Harv Eker, and it was like a series of different workshops. And we went in, it was Enlightened Warrior Training. It was in Malaysia. We went into this room. I think there were about 300 of us in this room. And there was loud music and it was aggressive language and really whatever. And I did what probably 90% of us in the room did. I sat down and went, and blocked it all out. You know, I'm just going to be nice and calm, nice and calm, nice. It's not going to get to me. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not, you know, all this sort of stuff. And he said at the end of it, like, we were all feeling really pleased with ourselves because we didn't get caught up in the negativity. We'd stayed calm, we'd stayed peaceful. And he said that life is not about avoiding anything. It's about being able to handle anything that is going on without needing to remove yourself by going into meditation. And this is very much what I'm feeling with this video that I've just watched. And it was just, I just needed to hear it, because that's where I've been. It's like, I can't cope with this bloody vibration I'm in. It's too low. I don't like it. And how do I get out of it? Well, I get out of it by coming on these calls. Well, what I've got from that is that actually I've got to learn to be really comfortable in that vibration, knowing that my own vibration is not affected. And at the moment it is affected, whether I like it or not. No matter how much meditating I do every morning, my energy is being affected by my external circumstances, which tells me I still have a lot more freaking work to do so that it's not. Yeah, and that's what I'm working with at the moment. But for me, these calls are the lifeline, if you like, when I feel like I've had my head held underwater for so long, and I come on these calls and it pulls me up and go, okay, we can breathe, and I can swim a little bit more. You know, so sometimes for me, that discipline, if we bring this all back, that discipline is, for me now, is being able to maintain that level of acceptance without trying to change it, because that's what I want to do. I want to change the energy that's around me because it's dragging me down, it's whatever. And my self-discipline, if you like, is working on myself to get to the point where it really doesn't affect me. And I'm guessing, much as I hate it, I'm guessing that I will be here until I've learned that lesson. And I wish I could friggin' learn it now. It's like, oh. But that's you know, I am really aware that that is my lesson. So my discipline, if you like, is not external. It's not about doing things. My discipline, my self-discipline, is about being. And I know that when I start being congruent, because that's what I'm focusing on, then all this other stuff that we talked about will either fall away if it's not needed, or will no longer be an issue. Because when I get to that space, I am congruent. I am not congruent at the moment, and don't I ever feel it. And I do the work every morning. I do my meditation. I feel congruent. I feel great. And then an hour later, after a conversation of heavy, heavy, heavy stuff, I am no longer congruent. Because I've allowed myself to be dragged down by that. So I know that my work now is, my discipline is that it is not external. It's not about what I have to do, it's who I have to be. And working more and more on me. And that will shift the balance a little bit. Because how can I truly build the relationships I want to build? I've got to build this one. Well, I've got to get to this. When I put my time and my energy into this, me, then all that rest of the stuff is going to fall into place. Because I'm congruent. I know I am not congruent at the moment. And I hate it. I hate it.
I'm fascinated. Thank you for sharing that, Lisa. And I'm fascinated with what you said. And what was coming up for me was these calls are like an energy drink for you. Because one of the things you said was that you come off these calls with more energy and you're more productive. I think, is that what you said?
Yeah.
And yet what most people say before they're even in here, when we talk to people about something like this, is, I don't have the time. And yet you're choosing to use, like, if we look at it, 2.5 hours together to do the 2 calls here.
Yeah.
And in a way, from what I heard from it was, it helps propel you forward in regards to what you feel is important to you. So it also is reiterating to what I said earlier on about taking the time to do the affirmations and go to the gym and do the things that fills my own cup. And then going right back to what I was saying before to Antje around, why not do the 90-day program? I'm supposed to be doing it now. There's no way that these messages that are taking place aren't saying to me, hey, it's time.
Yeah. And so I was just going to say with that, because I've looked at, well, why am I doing this? Because it doesn't feel, I know I didn't want the objectives of what it was intended for, but it also feels right to be doing it because like these masterminds, it's causing me to go in and look at things from a different perspective. So what I'm doing is just looking at what my objective is, and I'm shifting my objective to something that is in alignment with me, because then you don't have to be disciplined. When it's in alignment, we are dedicated to doing something. We don't have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Discipline versus dedication, because discipline comes with force and resistance.
Absolutely. And I talk about I am dedicated to doing this.
Yeah.
Dedication comes from the heart, and it's easy.
Absolutely.
It's flowing.
Yeah.
What you've said, Lisa, brings out from me what came into mind is about being present in the moment, in the circumstances that we are at, and being present in that moment. And we always project the future based on the results in the past. And that way, history keeps repeating itself. And until we stop projecting. And when we're present in the moment, then we're not projecting, and we take it. Yeah. And that's my love-hate relationship with goals. Martin, you're going to love this, Lisa and me, we talked about this. I love setting goals because it's a direction. I hate setting goals because it's a limitation. It's a projection, I don't know what's going to happen in 12 months. Why should I limit myself to X amount of money, Or why should I focus on this, and then I'm so focused and then I don't see the opportunities that are coming this way. So it's my love-hate relationship. But bottom line is, when we're present in the moment and stop projecting, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. Based on our experience in the past, we are congruent and we are okay. And you obviously have some, I don't know what town you live in, and I don't know what your history is being back there in the UK, but it will keep you unless that is resolved.
I know. I'm totally aware of this. It's just, I think I know what I'm doing. I think I've got it sussed, and then bang, all of a sudden, well, you didn't get that one, did you? You didn't see that one coming, So look, I know it's a process. I've got all the tools. I know I've got all the tools. And sometimes I can do it, and sometimes it's great, and other times I can't.
It will come. I had an interesting, if I can share, I had an interesting experience there of leaving South Africa, because I was very much drawn to it, and I lived there for many, many years. And for many, many years, we said, we've got to get out of there. And then when I was thinking of packing up and leaving, then there was a part that held me back. And I knew I wasn't ready to leave it yet. I wasn't ready. And it never came about, it never came about. And then I did some self-work, okay? And it all became clear. And at the end I said, okay, that was it. That was it. Now I finished my chapter. I finished my energetic hold with Africa, with South Africa particular. It all came clear. It all made sense. And I thought of being at the airport and leaving, and it was fine, And I think 3-4 months later, we were on the airport and everything. And then also packing up and leaving was quick. We sold the houses, sold the furniture. It was super, super quick, 4 months. Yeah. For entire family to break up 20 odd years,
because you were congruent,
because it was ready. So we'll work on this, Lisa. Okay, we'll work on this, and then who knows? You might spend a winter there, and if you have to spend a winter there, then there will be for a reason, and you will love it, and you will learn and grow. Or next week Thursday you're on a flight to Bali. Who knows?
Yep. Who knows? Absolutely. And there's so much. I think this year has been my most intense year of growing, personal development work and stuff. And every time I think I've got to another level, it's like, oh no, you haven't. That was just the first step. You got a whole frigging staircase to climb. So yes, I'm surrendering to the process, and that in itself is a challenge. I say I'm surrendering, but I know sometimes I'm surrendering in my head and not in my heart. So I'm working very much on surrendering in my heart to this whole process and just allowing it to unfold exactly as it needs to, not how I want it to. So some big lessons going on at the moment, some big challenges, but it's what I need to be wherever it is I need to do. So I'll suck it up. I might whinge a bit, but I'll suck it up.
Well, let's have a picture of the three of us.
Yeah.
Smiling. So we've had a great call. 3, 2, 1. And I just want to say, I don't know if I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to do it before you turn around, Antje. If you turn around and look at your cabinet, I don't know if you can see this. It looks like it's got the Grinch on it.
Yeah.
It's the Grinch. I see it as angel wings.
Well, yeah, you could say angel wings, but I'm seeing the Grinch.
Yeah.
It's the devil. It's old original cabinet. So it's Biedermeier. It's about 200 years old or something like that. It's the original cherry wood, and I see it as angel wings. Yes, but you can see it as a Grinch as well. Yeah, depends where your mind goes. I know.
Yeah.
But I saw it particular because I normally don't sit in this angle, but I noticed it. I noticed it as well. More predominant when you actually see it like that than when you sit in it.
Powerful.
It is.
But it's a beautiful cover. It's my favorite cupboard. It's been the family for a long time. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks, ladies. It was a very powerful call as always with the pair of you, and I really appreciate. I've got 3 great and a bonus one as well, so I've got 4 big takeaways there, and this has been recorded. So once we get past all the giggling at the beginning, people will be like right into it then. But that just goes to say, because really, when we look at what we've been discussing later on, the whole thing started with playtime.
Yeah.
So
it's important. That's how we fill our cup. How do you energize? Coming back to the physical, I mean, the devil, I love the combination of the physical and the mental and the reactions that you have up and down. And so this is one of my favorite chapters. And what is best to upload your energy levels, boost your immune system than laughter? It is one of the best things. When you're anxious, when you have a panic attack or you're drifting towards a panic attack and you have this fear, laugh. I do this. I laugh out loud without any reason. Make sure nobody sees you. Okay. But it shifts panic or worry or anxiety immediately. You cannot hold negative thoughts in your head when you put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Absolutely. It's physiologically impossible. You put a smile on your face and you start with all the feel-good hormones. So this is why the physical, the laughter and the food, obviously, and I'm not getting into this, but your diet, your mental diet, your emotional diet, and your physical diet are the absolute key points of success, because you are what you eat and you are what you think.
Yeah.
And you're not what you think you are.
And I'm not what you think I am.
No, and I'm not thinking what you are, what I am, whatever. So let's just stop the thinking and feel. Let's go to So it's that's where the giggling comes in. And because we needed to recharge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Absolutely.
perfect. It's been an amazing call. Thank you, guys.
It has. It's been
My
phenomenal.
cup is overflowing.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna log off and go and lie down on the bed because I'm ready and the dog's just kicking off. So
Okay.
lovely to spend some time with you both, ladies. I really do appreciate you both. I'm very grateful for each one of you. So enjoy the rest of your days, because I know it's not nighttime where you are.
No.
I look
And
forward
if you
to-
need a remote Bowen treatment, let me know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll touch base with you because we spoke about that past life regression as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'll touch base
Oh,
with you. Yeah.
yes. Look, Martin, you know that we're here for you, you know, in any form of support. And I mean, I very much value you. So, and I leverage a lot of your creativity. So I have total personal selfish reasons for you to be well. So if I can help you with anything, please.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Both very kind. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, gorgeous one. Go and recharge.
Yeah,
Yes.
take care, ladies. Arrivederci.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.